Hooga chugga hooga 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 chugga hooga 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 chugga hooga 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 chugga hooga hooga. Hello my friends and welcome to another unboxing on Player Display. So what I have here are figures that are very odd and not very well known at all. These are the Loose Collectors, the Crypt YMPES, and I am just as baffled as you are. I don't know, I was kind of just doom scrolling through BBTS just to see what was out there, and you know, I've been collecting some Mythic Legions. I got a figure from the Whoosh, I got a figure from Epic Hacks, kind of collecting all those little mythological characters to add to my shelf, and I came across these little tiny baby demons, apparently, from Loose Collectors. And I went on YouTube, and I didn't really see any other reviews on them, so I figured, alright, sure, I'll be the first, why not? So this is going to be a pretty quick little review for these little figures because this is a pack of 5, but the reason why I wanted to look at it is because it's an instant army builder, baby. So let's just go ahead and see what these guys are all about. So let's go ahead and start with the box, which is literally just a card with the bubble on the front. You got the 5 baby demons in the front. They're called Yimps, but I just call them baby demons because a spade's a spade. But we got Loose Collectors, the Crypt. Got our 1 Choking Hazard logo over there. Have a little bit more down here. If we go ahead and push on in, some more text, some copyright, and all that, saying that it indeed belongs to Loose Collector. Up to this side, we have a good portrait of all 5 baby demons together. And going on down, we have a little bit of backstory because these are not the only figures released in the Crypt line. There are 2 other more tall demons that are a little harder to get, but I'm okay with just these. They're going to accompany my Mythic Legions just fine, I think. And again, create a little demonic army for my Gold Knight to face off against. So since this is the line I've never collected from, and I'm not sure if I'll ever be collecting from again, let's go ahead and just do a tried and true unboxing, which we haven't done in a little while, so I'm not going to be very kind to this packaging, but we pretty much know how it goes, especially if you've collected before. We got a little bubble here. Let's go ahead and just... Oh my god! Let's peel it off. Alright, so we're going to need a little more elbow grease going on into the bubble itself. A little bit of a puncture over here. There we go. Little tiny demon butt right there. Love it. Now, as you could probably suspect, they do not have a lot of articulation, but one of the things that I am curious about is the quality control, because with indie lines, we've been looking at a few of those lately. The quality control can vary. As you can see, there's no twist ties or anything, so I'm curious to see if everyone here is going to be in one piece. Here's the third, and it seems like no one's fallen apart or anything, so that's good to see. And, oh, well, he might have. No, he's fine. All right, one of them passed the fall test, so that's pretty good. So let me go ahead, have a little bit of playtime, and we'll see what these little dudes are all about. Okay, so here we are with our little gaggle of Hellspawn all lined up. As you can see, 1 is down and 4 are up, and this is where I wanted to talk a little bit about QC. So first things first, when you take these guys out of the box, there's a very distinct click whenever you're working with any of the joints, and articulation is very simple. It's just a ball joint in the head. I believe it's a ball joint. It could just be a disc swivel. I'm not totally sure. And a swivel in the shoulders. We'll talk about those when we get there. So there's going to be a little click when you take them out. So these guys were actually out in the cold weather for a little while, so they were a tad stiff, but once you crack them out of place, they should be just fine. The second thing, one of them actually does not stand up as well as the others, and as you could probably guess, it's this one over here. So I put him on several spots on my desk, and it is not the desk itself. The desk is totally flat, but for some reason, this guy seems to want to always fall backwards, but that's not a huge deal because, again, their arms are articulated, so if I put those up, then I go ahead and put them down, then that kind of counters them out. So it's going to be cool to get them all uniquely posed, and then he's just going to have to be one of the ones with his arms out, and then he's totally fine. So anyways, with all that being said, quality control, totally fine. Let's go ahead and focus on one of them because all of them are pretty much identical, so let's get started. So I went ahead and selected randomly one of the little demon babies that we have to look at here, and I really like these little guys. They're just fun little figures to accent any of your collections that you wish. I guess even you could fit them into Star Wars. I mean, there's Deveronians, they're an alien species with 2 horns, so you could do that if you wanted to. But for me, again, they're going to fit in with my Mythic Legions just fine. But yeah, they got that fantastical element going on that I think makes them very adaptable. So it doesn't just have to be for a loose collector collection, obviously. It could be for any collection that you wish. So let's go ahead and start with the head sculpt, which I think looks absolutely fantastic and is a little bit better than I thought it would be. So as we see here, we have a first look at the color palette of these figures, which goes all the way down to the feet. You have a very dark base red, almost a crimson maroon, I'm not sure what you'd want to call it. It has like a very dark, not too dark, but a dark airbrush to kind of bring out some of the fleshy details to make them look a little more organic, which I really love. But then pushing on into the face, we have these really furrowed brows up at the top here to give them a little bit more of that angry grr that these little demon babies should have. I mean, if you have a demon baby, he's got to have a little bit of attitude, so it's good that that's included there. As I said, you got the two little horns up at the top. It looks like they're black with a little bit of a very light gray dry wash, which I kind of like. Just gives it a little bit more accent work. Around to the back of the head, nothing else to see, just a big old bald head as it should be. You got two ears. I think about it would have been nice if they were a little pointed, but that's okay. Maybe they get a little more pointed as they grow up. But as for these guys, it looks like they're staying in baby mode, so that's totally all right. Resuming to the face, we have two eyes, which are probably the best part of these little figures. For figures that are so small, of course, you want them to have as much detail as possible so they're able to stand out. And oh boy, these eyes definitely do it. We have a yellow iris, and then we got orange pupils going around, and yeah, it just looks really spooky and creepy, as these figures should. Then you got a little pig nose almost in the center there, and also 8 or 9 rather sharp teeth. It looks like maybe it's 10. Those 2 pinched off to the corners there, and they're a little bit sloppy when you push in really, really close, but from a distance, I mean, it blends in together really well, and you don't notice that at all. So honestly, it's not an issue. I think they're painted just fine, so that looks great. Going down to the rest of the body, it's just a naked little baby body, and I hope that's totally alright. It's a kid. I don't think it'll get me in any trouble here, but yeah, it continues with more of that shading. You can see that a little more in the pectoral area, down in the elbows as well. You also got some claws over here. They each come with 5 digits on each hand, and you got the painted in little claws, which I think are absolutely adorable. These guys are so cute. Going on down, he's got a little bit of downstairs business, but I'm sure that's okay to show off on YouTube. It's a baby, right? But another thing that made me consider, though, is if you wanted to vary these guys a little bit, you can make them custom diapers or togas or something like that if you have just a little bit of cloth to spare. I mean, I feel like that'd be a fun little way to make them vary just a little bit. Going on down, we got some tiny little legs and little tiny baby feet, and those feet have no claws, interestingly enough. Again, maybe they grow in later. I don't know what the life cycle of a demon is, so there you are. As for articulation, we talked about it, but let's go ahead and see it as well. The head, I'm pretty sure, is just a swivel. It can go all the way 360, very Exorcist of him to do. And then as for the arms, they both swivel all the way around, 360, and that's literally it. They are very simple little figures, but very good for adding a little bit of devilishness to your display. So I really like these guys, highly recommend them. So here we are at size comparisons, and as I said, I wanted to get them with more of my mythical or medieval characters or ancient warriors, that sort of type. So over here, I have my Mythic Legions Gold Knight 2. Then we also have the Mythic Legions Malifar, who I just got recently, who I really wanted to see with the Imps, and is actually the reason why I got them. And I really love these guys together. I really love the color contrast. You got the blue, then you got some red. I just think that's a really cool duality. They fit right at home with Mythic Legions, but they also don't look too out of place when beside a Whoosh Toys Samurai, who we also looked at previously, and he's a little closer to the 6-inch scale. And that's another really good thing about these figures, but since they're not from any particular line that we know super well, you can drop them into pretty much any display you want, even a 1/6 scale, and I think they'd work totally okay. But yeah, scale-wise, these guys will function with just about any figure you want. But of course, as all size comparisons must end, we can put them right beside a perfectly sized Star Wars Black Series Mechamuck!
You see? There they are! I told you I wasn't fibbing!
My friend, there are certain things best left alone. Goodbye.
Here are the imps again, literally chewing up the scenery, and oh man, I really love these little guys. Honestly, I can't recommend them more. I think they're a ton of fun to get them in all these little situations, no pun intended with me saying little a whole bunch of times, but they're just really enjoyable. I mean, they got limited articulation, are not very big, they can perhaps disappear in a crowd if they're not displayed properly, but they are a big old bag of laughs if you can get them in the right situation. Like here we have Malafar kind of taunting the Gold Knight with all the imps running around him, and I don't know, it's just fun to have these little tiny demon babies. They're scary, they're intimidating, but they're also really cute and funny. It's really however you want to twist it, man. They're a lot of fun. They're very cool and also very affordable. Again, if you just want a really quick army builder for your collection, it's a very good starter set, I'll be honest. I think it's very good for anyone who's starting up their Mythic Legions collection like I am, or if you just want to have demons and you want a cheap route to get them, because I don't know how many demon figures there are out there, but this is a really easy way to do it. They're very affordable, they're small, they're compact, you can put them wherever you want, with whoever you want. The scale is no issue no matter who you want to put them with, because they're babies, they're supposed to be tiny, and they're mythological creatures, so they can be whatever size that you want, and yeah, they're just a ton of fun. And it'd be cool to like divide them, maybe have some on one shelf, some on another shelf, you have something in the bathroom, then you got one in your cube. I don't know, they're great. They're a pleasure to have, so I hope you guys get them too. So thank you guys very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, then please, as per usual, be sure to
Like, comment,
ring the bell to be notified of our latest arrivals, and subscribe.
This is the editor speaking, humbly reminding you to support the pod Patreon in the description to guarantee new content every single week.
Thank you guys very much for watching. Rock on, and I will see you all later.